Kia ora, folks. My name is Andrew Fraser, and I'm the president at Halter. I hope you enjoyed that little teaser. Before I continue, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we're on today, and to pay my respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander elders, past and present. Folks, I am super excited to be here in Melbourne, where I used to live, and a place that means so much to Halter and the farmers we closely work with. We are deeply grateful to Minister Ros Spence just here, along with the work led by Beth Jones, Trevor Pisciotta and the regulatory team, plus the Ellenbank Smart Farm in Gippsland, and a shout out to our friend Mick Veach as well, the chair of Agri Futures as well. Thank you all for your vision and your leadership to allow farmers to access virtual fencing. Your team has pioneered bloody high quality regulations of virtual fencing. Halter is honoured to be the first virtual fencing company to operate and to support Victorian farmers in the state that produces 2/3 of national milk supply and has a thriving beef sector. So thank you so much for this opportunity for us today as well. This is the formal bit, but there was one bit that I also wanted to say. Thank you very much on behalf of Victorian farmers. I might look a little bit tired because after landing last night, I battled Melbourne traffic to get out to Gippsland, to the amazing farm of Ross and Jen at Anderley. They are going to be our first Halter farmers in Victoria. And it was so special to be there. Cooked a lovely steak dinner, but also to hear how they are thinking about Halter, how they're thinking about their productivity improvements, and I think more importantly, what it means for them as farmers, for them in the long term of being able to farm the way that they've always wanted. And so to be able to enable them in this situation just gives me goosebumps. So I'm really excited to be able to support our farmers with this too. So thank you. It is truly a privilege to be here. We at Halter are pumped to be at Evoke Ag to immerse ourselves into all that is the future of farming. That's the theme that I think is so at the heart of the system that we've built as well. So if you were to rewind back to when Halter first started, about 10 years ago, when it was just a concept bubbling away in the brain of a 21-year-old student from a very rural Kiwi town, you could say that a exciting chapter of the future of farming was indeed just beginning. And I promise you that's the cheesiest I get in this whole presentation as well today as well. So the guy that I'm talking about is my mate up there, Craig Piggott, Halter founder and CEO. Craig grew up on his family's dairy farm in the Waikato, specifically in Morrinsville in New Zealand. He watched his parents grind through 100-hour weeks for years, just like most farmers out there today. He loved life on the farm, but he also noticed the constraints of conventional farming that his parents had just come to accept. There's got to be a better way. At the time, Craig was working as a literal rocket scientist, and when he went back home to the farm on the weekends, he began tinkering. He tinkered, he tested, he researched. Can cows be trained? How can we get more from our pasture? How could we remove so much routine or non-value-adding work on farm? He didn't know at the time that the answer to those questions would be a collar for cows and an app that would allow you to train, move, and fence animals from the palm of your hand. Let me maybe give you a quick glimpse of our system. So, every day, a pasture farmer needs to manage two key things: their animals and their land. Halter helps farmers manage both. We're best known for virtual fencing, like this image back up here as well, keeping cattle within a virtual boundary so farmers don't have to constantly erect and move virtual fencing. Maybe a quick show of hands before I go too deep on how many people here kind of know how Halter works. Well, that's a lot, thank you. I'll do a quick demo just for those that don't. Bear with me here, this is again pretty off script. Cows wear collars like this. You draw on your app a little boundary where you want them to stay. When they go outside that boundary, they get a little beep in one ear to turn them back that way, or they get a little beep in this ear to turn them back this way. That's how it works. They essentially respond to sound instead of sight. That's the heart of our collars. So that's virtual fencing. There's also virtual herding, which is guiding animals to a new location, like the milking shed, using sound and vibration cues as well. First-time observers describe it like magic, seeing hundreds of cows stand up and walk themselves to the shed without noisy motorbikes, yapping dogs, or anything else pushing them from behind. The biggest value, though, in my mind of Halter, is where we help farmers grow and harvest more grass, all through our powerful pasture management tools there as well, to ultimately grow and utilise more pasture with higher quality, so unconstrained rotational grazing. But the best way I think to think about Halter is that we are the operating system of the farm. Fencing, herding, heat and health, pasture, helping farmers manage across their whole farm with Halter, farming the way that they have always wanted. Now, Halter is the fastest growing technology in pasture farming because it drives such a strong financial return for our farmers. That's obviously very critical. But I also do know that sustainability is a huge focus for so many people in this room today as well. As you can see up on the photo right now, at Halter, our mission is to make agriculture, which literally represents half of the world's habitable landmass, more productive and more sustainable. Traditionally, those two key principles of farming, productivity and sustainability, they came with a trade-off. Pushing hard on productivity could come at a cost to our people, or our animals, our land, or the environment. Halter is the operating system to unlock these constraints, to increase productivity, to improve health and well-being for animals, and to farm in a more sustainable way. This is Andrew Black of Toric Farms. He's one of my favourite Halter farmers. He actually gave me over 30 kgs of lamb chops and lamb roasts for Christmas, and I fucking love meat. So that might be a factor to his favouritism. The other reason that I love him is that he loves his pasture. And so he, with Halter, relies 100% now on homegrown feed. Just like Andrew, our farms in general are more pasture-based while reducing other farm inputs like fert or brought-in feed. Halter farmers become more efficient food producers. They're achieving more with less. They can improve emissions efficiency, protect sensitive land and waterways, and also increase soil health. And something that we're seeing much more of is the ability to protect biodiversity and wildlife habitats, and also, more importantly, here in Australia, to build resilience against fire and flood risks as well, which is so critical to all we're doing here as well. Now, I was told that there were a lot of other startups or scale-ups or tech companies in the audience here as well today. And there's something about the journey of a company like Halter that might resonate with some of the innovators and entrepreneurs and founders in this room as well. So I did want to share the story of Halter a little bit, because it also makes me pretty proud. So the Halter collar prototypes literally started out as a plastic lunchbox, capable of supporting max 5 cows at a time. You can see them up there. That's one of our first inventions down there, down the bottom as well. And I'd say it probably hasn't been the smoothest of sailing ever since. For the first 5 years, literally, of Halter, it was just R&D. We didn't have a commercial product in market. We were just learning how to train and guide cows. Welfare, animal welfare, is also at the heart of everything that we do. So all of our early engineers had to learn how to sew so we could get the best ergonomic fit for our collars to make sure that there wasn't any rubbing from chains or anything along those lines as well. We eventually got a product to market in Waikato, then in Canterbury, then across New Zealand. These are some of our early farmers up on stage as well, before moving into Tassie, the USA, and now the rest of Australia as well. Fast forward from that 10 years of trials and learnings and challenges to today, and we've now got over 750,000 collars on cows across 3 countries. We get asked a lot about what it took to get here. And in my mind, it's pretty simple. So much of it comes back to culture. Culture matters enormously to us. It's very purposeful. It doesn't come by accident. And we are driven by 10 key operating principles that hold us to account today. I've had the good fortune to be an exec at a few companies now as well, and I can honestly say that at Halter, we talk more about culture than anywhere else I've ever worked by a factor of 5. It's infectious, it challenges us, and it gets our customers where they want to be as well. One of our operating principles is we work hard. 3 words, pretty simple, but a lot of meaning in them. And I'd also say that not many companies have got the guts to just come out and say that we work hard as well. Our customers are farmers who work so hard themselves, and so do we. We hire people who are attracted to and thrive off the challenging work. Another one, bring joy. Again, beautifully simple, but the hard work means nothing if you can't enjoy it. And one of my favourites, farmers, ranchers, animals, always. They drive everything that we do. They simply have to. Without them, we're nothing. All this, the journey, the culture, it brought us to last year when we closed our Series D funding round, raising US $100 million at a $1 billion valuation. We've got an epic team behind the product, an awesome bunch of people, all of whom I'm very, very proud of. And we're growing faster than I can keep count. So here comes the shameless plug, just to let you know, come and work for us because we are hiring. We're looking to have 100 Australians on our team by the end of the year. And I'm also very excited to announce right now that we are opening our Australian hub right here in Melbourne, down the road in St Kilda as well. So that will be coming very soon too. Just like back home in New Zealand, agriculture is the backbone of the Australian economy. So it's humbling to be able to recruit for more people that will help contribute to such important economic prosperity across Australia. Now, let's bring it back to where it all started for us in Australia, Tassie. Stunning place. It reminds me a lot of New Zealand, and not just because there are so many Kiwis and dairy farming there. Here's Troy up there, Troy Ainsley, a brilliant operator. 2 years ago, he won Tasmanian Dairy Farmer of the Year, and literally last week, he won Australian Dairy Farmer of the Year. Bloody brilliant bloke. Troy's use of Halter has been inspiring. It's changed the way that he and his wife run their 540 cows, making life easier and better for them and their 4 children. When I was with Troy late last year, he said, we can't monitor anything if we can't measure it. Instead of farming herds, we now farm and manage individual cows. And he's seen a huge return on an investment with Halter, 170%. To give you a glimpse of where those gains come from, it's things like extra milk in the vat, more pasture eaten per hectare, higher in-calf rates, fuel savings, and fencing savings. And there are stories like Troy's all across Tasmania. Now, 1 in every 3 dairy cows in Tasmania wears a Halter collar. And it's people like Troy who have inspired farmers on the mainland about virtual fencing. And we're now speaking with hundreds of these farmers about these opportunities today. And we've been really proud to support farmers to make sure that their voices have been heard. This photo is one example. Farmers drove and flew into Sydney from all over New South Wales, and we had a couple come in from Tassie and Queensland as well, to make sure that their calls for virtual fencing were being listened to. They spoke with politicians, to the media, and they went into Parliament House. These farmers were super passionate about making sure that they could use Halter on their farms and to make sure that we had the regulations in place to allow that to happen. And that's what happened. In the space of a single week in December, the 3 governments of Victoria, New South Wales, and South Australia passed new regulations to allow responsible virtual fencing and herding providers to operate. It was a monumental moment for Australian farming. I've also got to say it wasn't easy. We've been working for this for 3 years with government leaders, industry bodies, and state governments. But it was the farmers that drove the change and were the stars of the show as well. These 3 states collectively have got 12 million cattle, so this is a huge growth opportunity for the industry and for the economy. Let's just look here in Victoria. A year ago, we looked at a sample of Halter customers from Tassie and New Zealand. They reported increases of milk production of 5 to over 10% because of virtual fencing before you get to any of the other benefits that come along with it as well. If pasture-based dairy farmers in Victoria used virtual fencing and increased milk production by just 5%, this would generate over $100 million of extra milk for Victoria. And I think this right here, this photo, is a result of the hard work for those farmers. We were delighted to see New South Wales open up for us in late December. And to mark this special milestone for the mainland, I did want to share with you a very special cow called Alice. Once a sweet poddy calf who was hand-reared by her farmers, Alice was the first ever cow collared for virtual fencing in New South Wales. The first cow in a very long journey to adapt virtual fencing adoption across all of mainland Australia. Maybe a round of applause for Alice. Can we do that? We'll just give it a quick round. We're bloody excited to get going. Currently, we've got more than 2,000 farmers and ranchers using Halter here, in New Zealand, and in the US. American ranchers are rapidly taking up Halter on their operations. We're on nearly 350 ranches across 24 states, and that's more than 750,000 cattle globally managed with Halter. We recently tipped over the 1 million miles of virtual fencing laid as well, a casual walk around the earth 27 times. And so with this momentum in mind, our message to Australia is that we're ready for you. We're excited about the growth, which we saw quickly with our first Australian state of Tasmania. Over in New South Wales and up in Queensland, we're already live on farms. And we feel really privileged to continue our growth today. From the announcement today, we were able to serve both dairy and beef farms in Victoria. Now, before I wrap, I did just want to zoom out a little as well. I'm very proud of Halter, as you can see probably, but I'm equally as proud of New Zealand and Australia, and that they are at the heart of agtech globally. I could see this at CattleCon in Nashville, Tennessee, where I was 2 weeks ago, where Aussie and Kiwi brands were showing up in strong numbers to Australian producers. This region is thriving with agtech brands. Breeder, which is up here on the right, led by Ian, who's an Aussie, has built awesome software for livestock training and management. Andrew, who leads RanchBot or FarmBot here in Australia, has made the monitoring of water troughs and tanks an automated remote task. There are fantastic robotics players like Swarm Farm and Robotics Plus Loam Bio and Tom and Britt at the team at Number 8 Bio who are tackling the emissions game as well. We have such a huge advantage as agtech producers and products from Australasia because our farmers are some of the best in the world. They are so high-performing and innovative, and they are unafraid to pioneer new technology as long as it makes sense and it helps them with their animals and with their land. These farmers fast become customers and partner on the journey with us. They give us deep insights and feedback to help improve our products. Halter would be nothing without our farmers who have so deeply shaped our product development over the years. So I'd really encourage you all to check out the awesome ag tech companies while you're here, the future Halters or the future AgriWebs of the world. We're all in bloody good company. Thanks. Look, I love visiting farmers. It's my favourite part of my job by far. And so to close, I wanted to share one of my favourite ones. This is George Gibson up there. He's from Waimati in North Otago in the South Island. He was one of the first farms that I ever visited. And literally 5 weeks into his Halter journey, Collar's been on cows for 5 weeks, I'm taking off my boots at his door and he turns to me and he says, "I just can't imagine life without Halter." And it's feedback like that that reinforces Halter's purpose, and it truly means so much to us. It's also the feedback that I think everyone in this room should be looking for to support and to help grow our farms and our farmers. We can't wait to meet so many more Australian producers to help them farm the way that they've always wanted, without restraints and without limits. Evoke Ag, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for listening. Please come and chat to our crew at our stand today as well. Ka kite, have a great rest of your day. Thank you.